with Kichelik Hashem Amoy, Kichelik Havaya Amoy, and we asked how is it possible that it could be when you're dealing with Hashem, especially the level of Shem Havaya, how could it be called Chelik, a part? How can you say a part of Shem Yudke Vavke? Even perhaps Shem Elakim, that's a plural name, it's possible to use the term parts, but how can you use the term parts when you're dealing with Shem Yudke Vavke? The whole idea of parts doesn't apply. To be able to explain this, he started saying about the pasuk that speaks about later, that it continues after and descending from the level of Chelik Havaya Amay, it descends to a level of Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai. That he's going to explain that Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai is a lower level. And to indicate that, he's going to show how the psukim, and he showed already how the psukim following Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai and are all in a way of a descent. It speaks about Yimtzeu Beretz Midbar, that he finds him in a place of a wilderness, of a desert. That's a low level. Then you have an even lower level, B'soy Yelel Yeshimain, where there is a place of terrible, things that, the serpents that could hurt a person, and so on. And then, so in the simpler vein, when you say Chelik Havaya Amoy, Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai, it's a descent. First Chelik Havaya Amoy, and then it's descending. Now we're holding on top of the second page Vav, on the first line, La'achrize. Now the Rebbe says that after we speak about Ki Chelik Havaya Amoy, Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai, so then it begins the other direction. Now it's going to talk about ascents. So he says, top of the first line, and after speaking about the descent from Chelik Havaya Amoy, then Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai, and so on, then begins the order of the ascents from below to above. First says, that Hashem treats us like an eagle that awakens his nest. Till Havaya leads him alone, the Jewish people, and there's not with him any other power, no foreign power. All this comes as a continuation and a series to what explained prior to this. Yarif Kamater Likhi, he will make descend like rain my gift, which is the Torah, Tizal Kidal Imrasi, that it shall drip like dew, my sayings. Now, when you talk about matar versus tal, you talk about rain versus dew. Rain and dew are again an ascent to a higher level. Rain is a lower level in comparison to dew. The matar the idea of rain is the inspiration from above that comes after the inspiration below. In the physical sense, one needs to work the ground, like it says concerning Adam Rishon, that the rain did not come down because there was no man to work the ground as of that time. You need to work the ground to ready it so that when the rain comes down, then it will come down on ground that's been prepared. Also spiritually, we say that the idea of rain is as a result of our good deeds. And if Chas v'Sholom, we see all different types of stories throughout Tanakh, that if Chas v'Sholom we did not act appropriately, so then the rains were withheld. So there's a relationship. Rain is coming from above, but it's coming from above in connection as a result of our avodah. But with tal, on the other hand, dew is never withheld, despite what Yidden may or may not do or not do. The dew is always coming down, indicating it's inspiration from above that's beyond the inspiration from below. It's something that's brought down beyond the Seder Ishtalshlus, similar to where it says only Hashem leads him. It's not even something that we do. So now he's going to explain more about the idea of Chelik Havaya and the different progression of levels that we're talking about over here. Line 11, Ois Gimel. Be the Indian, going back to what we spoke about. How can Yidden be called a Chelik, a part? Where it says that his nation is a part of Havayim. Hainu Yisrael hem Chelik min ha'etzem. Yidden are a part of Hashem's essence. Shari Shem Havaya hu Shem ha'etzem. The name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is Hashem's essential name, as opposed to the other names of Hashem, Elokim, Adonai, Kael, and so on. Shabai nimtza kol ha'etzem. When you have, as he's going to explain, a part of the essence, then you have the entire essence. Like the statement of Baal Shem Tov, Shehuva Makam Mekaymis is brought down in many places in Chassidus. When you grasp part of the essence, you have the entire essence. I like to give us just a very tangible, physical example for this. If you are, you have a long table and you're touching the end of the table, you're touching the table. It doesn't make a difference. You're not you grab hold of the table. You're grabbing hold of the table, even though most of the table is not within your hand's literal physical grasp, but it's one essence, so you have all of it. The Rebbe says that there's also a different way how this is sometimes put, and that is in a part of the essence, you have the entire essence in it. It is essentially the same thing, but in different words. When we speak about Chelik Havaya, the Alter Rebbe in the Ger Satshuva says, because Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name Havaya of Hashem, has in it these many different levels that Yud Kei Vav Kei represents, as we're soon going to speak about, and the Neshama reflects those as well. Sheyesh Boi Arba Oisius. The name Yud Kei Vav Kei has 4 letters. Shehem Keneged Arba Oilamas Atzilus B'ri Yitzir Asiyah. These correspond to the 4 worlds of Abiyah. Ukmoiken Yesh Arba Dargis Min Neshama. In a similar vein, the Neshama reflects those 4 levels and has in it those 4 levels because it's a chelik of those 4 levels. What are the 4 levels that we find in the Neshama? What we say every morning in davening. There's the level of the Neshama Tahira. There's a level of the Neshama Barasa that you created her, Yitzarta, that you formed her, and the fact that you blew her in. That all these 4 levels correspond to Ratzil's Bri Yitzir Asiyah that it comes from, and that it's manifest now in the Neshama. So seemingly, this is lower than the essence. Why are you telling me that Chelik Havaya Amri means, since Havaya is Shema Etzem, so it means that a Yid has in him from the Etzem of Hashem? Seemingly what Alter Rebbe is saying is it has to do with the distinct levels of Abiyah and the levels that are lower than the essence. So the Rebbe continues in line 22, Mikol Makom still in all, where it says Chelik Havaya Amay, it also goes on the part of the essence that's beyond the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. The Hainu, this means Bechinas Kutzah Shel Yud Shel Mailam Arba Oisius. It's the point of the letter Yud that's beyond and above the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Sharei Arba Oisius the Shem Havaya has Cholosim Bois Yud. The truth is, it's not just the Yud has the point on top of the Yud, but every single one of the letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei begins with the letter Yud. Like my father-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe, explains in many sichos that every letter begins from a point, and that point is the level of Yud. So therefore, every letter of the Yud Kei Vav Kei has the point, or the Mailam Ezo Akutzi Shal Yud. On top of that, the point from which all the letters begin, there's the point on top of the Yud. Therefore, that point on top of the Yud is what the Yid is associated with, not just of every letter, not just the letters themselves. And the point on top of the Yud is a very lofty level. Let's explain the Neger Satshuva Shakutshal Yud. The point on top of the Yud, the Roim is L'B'chinas Rotzen. It indicates a level of will, top of page Zayin. V'loi Rotzen Stam, not just any will, El Rotzen Elyon Baruch Hu. Hashem's supernal will, the level of will that's beyond Seder Ishtalshlus, Keser, and even higher. And therefore, since we are dealing with the point on top of the Yud, we understand the connection with the essence. That's what he's coming to tell you, that Amoy Daike, specifically those that fall into the category of nation, they are Chelik Havaya. What does the idea of nation come to tell you? It's referring even to those that are on the level of from the word extinguished or low burning coals, that the fire is not even visible. It's only inside is the fire over there. Let's explain in Tanya that every Jewish person, even someone that's the level of Amoy he is in a level where seems to be the fire within him is darkened and extinguished. He has two souls. And that second soul amongst the Yidden is a part of Hashem. This is the very same thing, but we said that the essence, when you grasp part of it, you grasp its entirety. Okay, like we mentioned before, the essence, when you grasp some of it, you grasp its entirety. And that's mimal mamash, mamash daika. We say it's from above mamash. Specifically, mamash, the Alter Rebbe adds, because it's a phrase in a pasuk. It says chelik el kamemal, and the Alter Rebbe adds the words mamash. Like it's known both explanations in the word mamash. One explanation, the word mamash, is that it's really so. It's not just a turn of phrase. It's not just an exaggerated term that the Torah will sometimes use, a nice turn of phrase, but it literally means that every Yid is a chelik el kamimal. That's one meaning in mamash. Another meaning in mamash is in the word mamash, something that's tangible. That this chelik el comes down to something that's tangible, meaning even someone that's an even someone that their connection with Hashem seems to be darkened, like these extinguished coals, but still in all, he as well is a chelik el he has the etzem within him. So that's the first part of the pasuk. Now we are descending in levels in the pasuk, like we were saying before, line 11. Because of the pasuk continues, Ya'akov chel נחלתו. Yaakov is the rope of his inheritance. Shezeu lemata me'inyan, or the rope of his lot. That's below the idea of the chelik havaya amay, that his nation is a part of havaya, meaning shekoi al neshama k'fishu mitzadatz. When you're dealing with chelik havaya amay, you're dealing with the neshama as it is on its own, the very essential nature of the neshama. The idea of a rope is, the rope is like the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, one end of the rope is tied above, and the other end is down here below. So we're not just talking about the neshama the way it is on its own, but the neshama the way it relates in connecting and going from above to below. This is the way the neshama descends down here below. To such a degree that there could be some type of separation in one of the thin strands of the 613 thin strands, that from there the entire rope of the Amshacha is woven together. Like the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, that if Chas v'Sholom, a person transgresses one of the 613 mitzvahs, so then one of the strands of the neshama, that's also made up of 613, could be damaged, could be cut. So we see that's not the neshama itself. The neshama itself, nothing a person does wrong can affect it. Rather, when we're talking about the thin strands of the neshama, those thin strands of the neshama are part of the chevel, the lower part, the part of the neshama, the way it comes down here. Over there, those thin strands can be affected. Ya'akov line 18, that's what it means. Yaakov is the rope of his lot. Yaakov Davka, specifically he says the term Yaakov. Yaakov indicates to Yud Akiv. It's the 10 koichs nefesh, way it comes down, or the 10 spheres, way they come down to the heel. It indicates the drawing down of the neshama down here below. That even that there, down here below, the neshama is still part of the essence because of this rope. And all of this is in the way that Yaakov is a rope of his nachla. Nachla, the lot is an idea of inheritance. Why do we have this connection? It's an inheritance. It's a great and powerful treasure that he did not put in any effort in it whatsoever. Top of page Ches. The whole idea behind this concept is in the previous mimer, in the mimer of Tiku of Rosh Hashanah, which we had to skip. It was explained that the idea of the neshama is to be found even and exists even before Hashem said, "Let there be Adam." That's why I said he blew into his nostrils a soul of life, which means there was a soul of life ready and waiting after Hashem said Nasa Adam. So there was the soul of life waiting for the Eibusha to blow it into the Adam. The one who blows from within. Pirush, what does it mean? From his innermost level, and from he blows out the neshama. There are two concepts that the man de nafach indicates. One thing is First thing is it's coming from his innermost level, indicating that it's the etzem of the Eibishter, not like everything else that was created with speech. That speech is very external. Blowing shows that it's coming from the very inside, indicating something coming down from the essence. On the other hand, it's mitoichoi nafach. But in the nafach, the idea of blowing, it's the drawing down. So you have both levels. It's coming from the etzem as becoming nimshach, like Yaakov Chevel Nachlosei, that you have the rope from the highest to the lowest. From these two things that are in the neshama, the way it's in the level vayipach, comes down these two things in the neshama, the way it's already stated, that it's a maimer vayomer, that Hashem said, Nas Adam Tzalmeinu Kidmusenu. That's already a lower level. But the higher level of Vayipach impacts the lower level of Nas Adam Tzalmeinu. Shezeu in Nas Adam Tzalmeinu Kidmusenu. So over there in that Maimer, he explained that Tzalmeinu, when it says in my form, who etzem adavar, like a sculpture, it's 3D. It's the full entire thing itself. With Moseinu, and when you say likeness, that's only something that's similar. So the Maimir explains, when we say it means The way the neshama came into the level that's selam, that's soiva, because more real, if you will. And the mus, something that's only a likeness, that's the way it comes down to the level of Mamal Kalamin. So you have Man the Nafach Matoichi Nafach, the ultimate highest level. It's coming from Hashem's inside, from the Etzem. And then it has to come Nasa Adam. Nasa Adam, that's like the Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai, in continuation of the Chelik Havayim. Bezeus, he says in line 14, this is Shagam B'chinas Etzem Mamish. I'm sorry, Bezeus Shagam B'chinas Ya'akov Chevel Nachlosai. Also on the level that Yaakov is the rope of his inheritance, Bechinas Yud Akiv, the way it's the 10 levels coming down to the heel. Yeshnei Bechinas Ha'etzem Mamish, there's the very essence itself. The Kivun Shabashayrish HaNeshama, Kvishu Bechinas Ve'yipach, since in the root of the Neshama, the way it's on a level that he blew it, Yeshnei Loidak Ha'inyan Techiyusi Pnimiyusa, is to be found not just the level of its innermost level, there's also the idea that it was blown. Blown shows that it's amshacha. Therefore, also the way neshama came, that was nimshach down here below. Yaakov is the rope of his inheritance, the rope showing that it's coming down. It's a part of the essence because it was blown from his very essence. That's the whole idea, the connection between Chelik Havaya Amma, Yaakov Chevel Nachlosai. It's still connected from the top end of the rope to the bottom end of the rope. Ois Dalet, line 22. Hinei kol zehu b'negel neshama. All this concerning the neshama itself. Before it even hits the body, you have all these different levels that we're talking about. And afterwards, it continues in the pasuk. You will find them in a land of a wilderness, of a desert. The koi alaguf. It's referring to the body is considered in the midbar. This world is like a midbar, it's the wilderness. But since it's a body of a Jewish person, therefore it's only an idea of a wilderness, but it's not a thing that is hurtful and damaging. It's a benign thing. It's not fruitful, but it's not, on the other hand, and something that's antithetical. Afterwards, it continues that the toyu is the chaos and the emptiness, the cry of these serpents, etc. The koyal oil it's referring to this low world that there's nothing lower than it. Until the wicked are overpowering it. It's not just an idea of a wilderness, but it's also something that damages and is hurtful because it's a level of something that's antithetical to godliness. Top of page 10. Yet, though the descent of Neshama in the body is a very great and powerful descent, from a high building, from the roof of a high roof, to a deep pit and dungeon, not just an ordinary pit, that's the idea of the body, a land of the wilderness, a deep pit and dungeon, this low world. As we said before, that's going on this low world. This descent is for the sake of an ascent. Until the ascent has to be beyond and higher than the high roof, that from there was a descent, because obviously there has to be a purpose in it. So that I've asked, seemingly from where is there the power and capability to be able to reach to that high level? So he says, the general explanation is because the nation is part of Havaya. A part of the essence. When you grasp part of it, you grasp its entirety, like we mentioned before. The essence is not susceptible to any changes. Even when he finds himself in the toyu, in that cry of the wild things in the wilderness, there are no changes. And then he lets us continue till the end of this paragraph, but the explanation of the matter more in detail, more specifically, like it's explained in the Mamarim, concerning where it says, you guard the neshama within me. It's a level even higher than Tahira, the level of Ata, the you Hashem have to guard it when it's here. Why is that so? Just like any guard, it has to be more powerful than those that are being guarded. That's why he's guarding them. And the same thing, the neshama in the body is being guarded and has these powers that are higher than it. That's what it says further in the Hazinu, that he surrounds him. It's a drawing down to the supernal level of Makif. Afterwards it says he will build him up from the word of building, meaning even with the way it comes down here below. He still has the capability to make a building and a home for the Eibusha down here below, like the well-known expression. That's through the power of the makif, of the transcendent level that surrounds him. That's how he's able to do that and have that capability to make a dir lo yisbarach b'tachtonim.